we've got a product that is rolled out that literally people are seeing amazing results with in a very short period of time, even though those are things that no one's making any claims that everybody's going to, you're not going to come in here in 1 week, lose 45 pounds. Okay. That is not what we're talking about. I just want everybody to know. So the statements, we're going to have a couple of people share what their results are because it's their results. These are real things, but the statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These are not products are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure or prevent any illness or diseases. Okay, that's not what's happening here. The testimonies you're going to hear are for informational purposes only. They are actual experiences from the product users, and that's why they're sharing them. So always talk with your healthcare provider for any questions. Individual results may vary. All right, so just understand that. So we're going to have got a handful of people that are going to share what has happened, and some of these are really quite amazing. But
Isabella, give us a little bit of your background and then why you're excited about this.
Hi. So these are my personal experiences, and it may not be your experience. And so I'm Isabella from Texas. I'm in the military. I'm getting ready to retire in September. So that's where I'm from. And so my experience has been that when I first started taking it right after July 4th, I didn't see a whole bunch of a difference in my weight. And so I said, you know what? I measured before, let me measure 2 weeks later. I measured part of my upper body and I lost 2.5 inches, which was great. My weight didn't change a whole lot, which I'm okay with. But what really got me excited was the fact that my inflammation in my fingers and in my joints went down. But more importantly, my blood glucose. I've been dealing with pre-diabetic numbers for the past year. And so I've gone on, like eating really, really healthy, and nothing seemed to change my numbers until I started taking the product. So I'm super excited about that.
So you're saying that the numbers that you have went back down in a normal kind of range, or what took place?
They're in the normal range. They're no longer pre-diabetic numbers.
Oh, yeah. Isabella, and so you also chose to be involved in the business in some way. Can you say what's happened there and what's been your experience, and when did you start?
Yes, so I started on May 27th, and I sat back and I thought about it for a minute. It's like, I'm tired of being left behind. I'm tired of saying, you know what, let me see what everybody else is going to do. And then I try to jump on something and it's too late by then. I said, I'm not doing this again. So I said, you know what, let me join. I joined on May 27th. I talked to a few people, 8 of them joined. And now I have 128 members in the program. Wow.
Well, and that's just in a matter of since basically the first part of June. So that's really congratulations. And you're off the races. Not only is your health improving, but also it looks like it's fixing some other stuff. No pun intended.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay. Awesome, Isabella. Thank you for coming on. All
Thank
right.
you,
Next,
Byron.
I want to go to John out in Atlanta. John, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey.
And why don't you just share what your experience has been and why this has been exciting for you?
TK introduced me to this company back in May 22nd, and I'm like, okay, this sounds too good to be true. But like Isabella said, I don't want to be left behind, And so I decided to join then, and then I've been on the product for about 3 weeks now, and this is my experience. I'm not saying it's going to affect anyone else. I know other people have other experiences, but what I did is I measured first, and I took some before pictures, and I took some after pictures yesterday, and I saw a huge difference, and I was like, wow. And so I measured, and I lost about 2 inches off my stomach and 1.5 inches off my waist. And so I was pretty excited about that. But, like I say, I felt great doing it. Sometimes when you go on diets, you feel like crap, no pun intended, but, for me, it's been the easiest thing. I haven't changed my lifestyle. I need to work out, but I don't. But anyway, that's what the product did for me. And, I've shared this with a number of people. I have 12 personals now, and I had one of my teams just exploded since probably probably right before the product launch, the pre-launch on the 15th. And I have over 600 people on my team.
Wow. So you, just to recap, so there's a lot of new people listening and they don't quite understand those two teams, but you got in line basically. And because you said yes, that positioned you and you started sharing with a few people. Some of those shared it with others. And now you got 600 people that joined. And the other thing I think that's really important, I hope people catch, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you really like the simplicity of snapping this in a drink. Are you putting it in an adult beverage? Are you putting it in your coffee, or what is it that you're doing? Because you didn't change anything other than putting it in a drink. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. That's correct. I don't drink alcohol, so I've put it in soda, I've put it in orange juice, I put it in water, and I've done it two times a day, morning and night, and that's all I've changed. And when I looked at my before and after pictures, 3-week pictures, I should say, it's not after yet because I'm still going. There's a huge difference, and I didn't understand how much, I guess, visceral fat I had, or fat around my stomach. So
yeah. So why don't you just share what your background is and what you're seeing take place and why you're excited about what we're doing here.
All right, thanks, Byron. First of all, Dr. Ben Bowers, Wichita, Kansas. I'm a functional medicine doctor. I've been in healthcare over 40 years, and my objective as a physician is to find out what's wrong and try to fix it. I call it functional medicine. And I'm a skeptic at heart. I've seen so many things come through. I have been involved in so many things in doing research. I'm part of the owner of a research company that we do tons of research on a lot of different products. I've done product development. I've done supplementation development. Just the list goes on and on. I have taught functional medicine around the country for 30, 40 years and thousands of doctors. So a little bit about that, about me. So when I was first presented this, I'm like, yeah, right, sure, I've seen this before. This is snake oil. That's what this is. And so doing my due diligence, I started doing some research behind it. I was well aware of the hops, the flour, and some of the excipient extracts that come out of it. But it intrigued me that the Adiphyte, which is a new one that hadn't been around. And so when I started doing some comparison on that, I thought, well, I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to get in and do my research. I'm going to start watching this with patients and clients and verifying the results that we get and go from there. And I was actually driving home from hearing about it with you, Byron, and I just felt like the Holy Spirit said, what are you going to do that for? Why don't you just get started? I thought, well, I'm about 50 pounds overweight, 67 years of age. Yeah, that'd probably be a great thing. So real quick, like I got on the phone, called up 4 or 5 of my doctor buddies. And I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring this in. We're going to do our analysis of it, and we're going to share all of our results, and we're going to experience it together. And so since the end of June, 1st of July here, we've got about 12 or 13 of us in, and we're seeing some pretty amazing results. Now, I want to qualify this, as Byron mentioned earlier, not everybody's going to have the same results. In fact, when I look at some of my clients or some of my patients that I've actually put this on, I went to causation of symptomatology or problems, and I said, okay, I have seen research that does this for that condition. Would you be willing to try this, and let's see what the results are? And so you've heard some of them that's already been mentioned, all right? So some of the unique things that I've seen is hunger changes. So my own personal experience has been on about a little less than 3 weeks. I'm down 6 pounds, but 12 inches. Now those inches are between my chest, my arms, my abdomen, my hips, and my thighs. Folks, that's amazing. I don't know anything that's done that. I haven't come across anything that has done that well. And so then I started watching some of my other symptoms of my patients, my clients, and we're seeing those things. Another kind of funny thing that, and I just say it's not a fun, but one of the major things is I urinate more. If I can say the word pee, I pee more. It's what they tell me. I go, well, that's okay. You're just peeing your weight away, peeing your fat away. So we're seeing a lot of that. The blood sugar issues are definitely there. Blood pressure reduction. Sleep. A lot of people are saying, doctor, understand, I'm having vivid dreams again. I don't have to nap as often. I have more energy, more strength, more stamina. Autoimmune issues that are reducing, that are not, I won't say abating, but all these things are lessening, all in less than 3 weeks since what we've been doing. And a big one for me at my age of 67 is the cognitive changes. people are going, I have better clarity, I have better recall, I have better recollection. And oh, by the way, a lot less stress and anxiety. So I've had a few people that we put on it that do not need to lose weight, do not need to lose fat per se. But when you understand what the fat actually does in the body and how our bodies are designed to retain fat, right? We talk about the white adipose tissue, the brown adipose tissue, the muscle adipose tissue, what's called the visceral adipose tissue. The body has so much fat that it needs for the brain, their nervous system, the hormones, 600 hormones, and the 8 master neurotransmitters. It needs fat. So your body will want to retain all the fat that it can. The problem is when you start retaining fat in the adipocytes is now your body can't use it. It gets put away, locked up, and the body can't get it. So it says, give me more, give me more. So what I was intrigued about this when I saw this is when I look at fat dysregulation within the body, or what we call the adipocytes or the lipid metabolism, what if I can change that, or if this product utilization can increase the thermogenesis, the metabolism of what's going on in the lipids, and all of a sudden you turn all the right utilization of the fats back on, all the symptoms of the lack of fat should in turn start dissipating and going away. And here in 3 weeks, that's exactly what we're seeing. So headaches reducing, numbness resolving, less weakness, skin shiny, hair growing. I mean, again, everybody's body is different. And so whatever that dysfunction is in that body, since we know the body is really a body of fat, I mean, think about the brain is 60% fat. The 5 different nervous systems of the body are 80 to 85% fat. As I said earlier, 600 hormones are made out of fat, and your 8 master neurotransmitters are 92% fat. If you can't use fat correctly, you're going to have some dysfunction in one of those areas. And everything that's been mentioned tonight is all a fat dysregulation problem. So by burning that fat or utilizing that fat and turning it back on, now the body says, thank you very much. I have the right fuel. I can go fix what was deficient. That's what I'm seeing.
Angie Carr. Angie is a gal that jumped in about 3 weeks ago. And so Angie, if you could please unmute yourself and tell these folks a little bit about your background, because that's going to be helpful, and what has happened specifically what you and I talked about yesterday.
I guess with my background, I was a nurse for about 20 years. And it wasn't until my own story of healing from autoimmune diseases and a lot of conditions, I decided to leave my job and focus more on wellness and healing the body naturally. So I have my own wellness business today, more holistic. And this company definitely aligned with me and with God because of everything you guys represent. So I'm definitely noticing changes in my body from just not eating as much, like eating half portions, taking away cravings away, like not craving any bad foods. It's really, I guess, changed mood, and I feel like more energy. Like I haven't done anything different except this. So that's why I'm saying that. Dropped 5 pounds in 9 days, which is, a good start. But something really amazing just happened to me the last couple days I want to share. So I get into like different kinds of stuff, and I was doing this bioenergetic testing. It's a machine that detects energy and imbalances in the body. And I've always been told I had gut issues my whole life because of autoimmune. And anyway, I've been working on it really diligently for the past 6 years with digestive enzymes and aloe and a bunch of things. And it seemed like I always still kept having issues. Well, when I got this test done the first time before SNAP, it showed gastritis, a bunch of things going on in the stomach. And then a few days ago, I did it again, and it totally cleared up. There was no evidence of ever having a gut issue, leaky gut, gastritis, like it never happened. And I was freaked out. Then I got the SNAP pHix and put it on the machine that tests different supplements and things like that to see if this was actually good for my body for me to absorb it. And it said green, which is flying colors on this machine. So she said, this is excellent for you. You are absorbing this. This is good for you. Your body's accepting this. And I thought that was big too. So I'm blown away by just seeing the evidence from a machine, bioenergetic testing machine, and myself with how I'm feeling. And I feel like this is really going to be good for so many people, not just with fat loss, but health stuff too, that I run across with my business, and I'm into other stuff as well. But this has got to be the biggest thing that I know for sure.
Wow. All right, so let's, she's over on the East Coast. Let's go over to the West Coast. And Rachel Grubb, I know you are on here. If you are able to unmute and share again the story that you have, and it's been, again, evidence because of equipment. So
my story kind of changed a little bit because I have some similarities with Angie, and we're in the same group. So I've had autoimmune issues for quite some time, and I had weight issues and just going on with my stomach for as long as I can remember. But about 7 years ago, I started a weight loss journey, and it just kind of always failed. And then a couple of years ago, I took one of the diet shots, and I ended up getting gastric paralysis from it. And, some people have great results with it. Some people, it's just not a good idea. So I was talking to Dr. Carson, who was on a few weeks ago, and we were speaking, and he said, this also helps with the vagus nerve. And I, for the past couple of days, have been feeling completely different in my stomach, like where, because I've been on an enema bag for the past, I say, couple of years, a year and a half now after the shot. Every day I had to, because it's kind of sucks, but that is what it is. But when he told me this, I was like, wow, I'm feeling very different, and my bloat is completely gone. So I went and weighed myself at the gym to start this first, so they could see the difference of where I started with this. And so in about a month from now, I'll go back and have them weigh me and see what my body fat is. But everything really has changed a lot in the sense of how I feel, like the brain fog. I work a medical job, so I'm up super early in the morning. So the other day, it was probably the hardest I've worked in a long time. So my brain fog is really lifted. So it's not just really about just losing the weight or losing the fat. It's really about an overall health situation with regulation of blood sugar. I do have a lumen, so I'm not sure if people know what that is, but it's kind of kept me straight with my journey with my weight loss. And I've been blowing 1 through 5 is kind of where you blow into this little device, and 1 and 2 is where you're going to be burning fat. So it's a good indicator when you wake up in the morning what your metabolism's doing. So I've had a regulated metabolism in 9 days. I've dropped 5 pounds, but I've also lost a lot of inches with my clothes. So I can fit into some of the clothes that I could never fit into 6 years ago. So it's a short stint, and I've been doing this for quite some time, and the results are very different than anything I've ever taken before.
All right. And then we got another one, Karen Ford. We know that Karen is out there, and she's experiencing the product and had some great results as well. Karen.
On July the 1st, Terry, I started using the product. I had heard that we were launching a up to 9-hour fat burn, and I really got excited. I'm 69 years old, and I've struggled with my weight for many, many years. And seems like the older I get, the harder it is. But today, when I got on the scales, I was down 6 pounds. Guys, that's an average of a half a pound a day.
Nice.
How it happens, I don't know. All I know is I'm caught up in the moment, and I know that I can change so many people's lives. I've lost 3 inches in my tummy. Wow. Guys, beyond thrilled. I do 2 snaps a day. I have just started adding 1 snap into my morning slimming coffee that we have here as well, and 1 snap in my fancy drink before I go to bed. I said, why not go to bed, and for up to 9 hours, I can burn fat while I sleep. So I got so excited. I get more excited every single day because the stories keep coming in from the field. But guys, why am I so happy? I believe now I can offer people a sip of hope. Not been this excited in many, many years. I know we're getting ready to change the world 1 snap at a time.
Got one more that we're going to share, guys. And again, a gentleman that has had some great results. So Brian Holmes, if you could please unmute and share with these guys what your experience has been, please.
I have been on a journey, much like Karen mentioned a moment ago, for many years of trying to get myself not only in shape, but to get a lot of excess weight off. And it is a struggle sometimes, but I tell you what, we've been doing such a wonderful, I guess, job at that with some of the products that we've had here at Marketplace Global. And this has been a game changer. I went on vacation with my wife to Colorado about a week and a half ago. We spent 9 days in the beautiful mountains. And when I'm on vacation, I tend not to eat as healthy. I told some folks the other day that I might have had 1 or 10 desserts while I was gone. And but I enjoyed myself. We had a lot of fun and a lot of pleasure eating out and being together and what have you. I expected to have come home having gained some weight. I really, really did. And when I got home, I jumped on the scales. I was down 4.5 pounds. But the bigger thing was I noticed while I was on this trip that the pants that I took with me that fit me perfectly fine the day that I left, they were getting quite loose. I'm talking about over 9 days. And when I got home, I was like, I took my belt off, and this is a little bit crude, but if I stood there very long in the same spot, I wouldn't have had to do much to get those off. And I said, well, I'm going to just try something here. So I got in the drawer that I had there, and I pulled out a pair of pants that still had the tags on them, a full size down. And I'm telling you, there's no way in the world I could have even come close to have buttoning those a week before. But that day, I didn't just put them on to try them on. I wore them. I've been wearing them all this week. And so I'm just really pumped. I'm shocked. I'm amazed. I'm excited to know that there's something out there now that we can use to achieve our goals. And as Karen said, become more healthy so we can go out and fulfill our purpose with great energy and great strength. And it's just really exciting.
The people we had on here tonight, they just jumped in and tried and attempted, and they don't have any special gifts or talents, just like you're not equipped with any special gifts or talents that makes you win faster than somebody else. Desire is what their magic word is. Desire that I want to have better health. Desire I'd like to have a better life. If you have a desire for that, you should come play with us. So jump on board.